I want to talk about the gender problem with shonen manga. And I'm just going to go out and say it. I don't know about every single manga that is shonen related, um, or oriented with that type of brand. But my main two examples are going to be the two that I've been invested in since early childhood, and I feel I have some basic understanding of the plot, which are Dragon Ball and Naruto. Um, and I'm going to sort of break down. And let me just also say, I'm a fan of both series. I like both series. Um, I have since I was little. It's just that I've had nostalgia with it, and even contemporary, I still like it, and well, both of them. And I recognize them as things that I enjoy for what they are, and like to see the positives of many times. But the point I'm making is, I feel as if they both lack in the same area, and that is female inclusion. Now, I'll give both series credit. They have two distinct examples of women having active or important roles in the plot. You have Bulma in Dragon Ball with her, even though she can't physically keep up with any of the male characters and I guess is sidelined when it comes to battles, she still contributes heavily to the plot with inventions and certainly, can I guess compensate in that way. And with Tsunade in Naruto, she was the Hokage for most of the series, the original serialization, until the end when Kakashi got it. And, she maintained an active role in the plot. But my problem with both of those two is that they either can't keep up, which for, it makes sense in a way because, what I'm trying to do here, it's a difficult thing to balance. I'm not trying to imply either author, Akira Toriyama or Kishimoto, just call him by his last name because I have a hard time with his first name. I want to make sure I don't mispronounce it and offend some of the Naruto fans. So I'm not trying to imply either author is sexist. I don't believe either one of them is sexist. What I am trying to imply is that I feel both series have a somewhat conservative just opinion on women, and I'll get into that very just as we progress further into this video. Now you have in Naruto several female ninja, and they are, in fact, actually Naruto has a group in the original village that the main character is from, called the Konoha 11 or the Rookie 9, and just it's basically four girls and six or seven guys, if I remember correctly. I think Sasuke is the one that's not counted because of his his thing that happened in the story that I want to spoil for the two or three people that don't know about that. Naruto's not as well. Its story isn't as well known as Dragon Ball, so I'm a little bit more reluctant to talk about the intricacies of its plot. Um, so the point I'm making is you have that group has seven guys or six, whatever, and four girls. So obviously there are more guys than girls. That's to be expected, I guess. And, it's something that I really wouldn't mind, provided the kind of following doesn't happen in the story. So let's go through part one of Naruto. For the main part, for the first part of the story, which is basically the first arc, and then kind of leading up to the Chunin exams, which takes us about maybe a third into the original series, part one. The only female character of continued relevance is Sakura, and during fights, she's standing around and not really involved in the battles, and just kind of is I feel it was in her character, was even admits to being useless. And looking back at it, I'm a lot more forgiving because she grew out of that, and it made for a compelling, interesting character. But even with that, I question why the one female character on the team had to be someone who was lacking compared to her male counterparts. You look at uh, just anything else with. I mean, that's just I'll get more into this because I really want to keep going with the story. So you get into the next part of the series, which is the tuning exams, and I'll break that down for you. It's basically where there's a tournament to see who will be the greatest ninja and who'll get promoted to the next ranking, and all of the ninja, the main 11, 12 ninja are in this, right? And again, four girls and seven guys, and out of those four girls all get disqualified in the first round. Two of them fight each other. One gets beat up by her cousin, and the other one is just the author even basically admits to making her character just to have the one girl to a team rule that he had, which is also another problem I have, but I'll get into that maybe later on. Um, Now, to his credit, one of the female characters, Tamari, from another village, she's a recurring supporting character, initially introduced as an antagonist. She ascends to the next round, but when you get to the next round, she actually gets beaten by Shikamaru, and he lets her win. But it's just the idea that the one female, it's something seems off to me that he has to let you win because he forfeited the match, and that's how she won. He beat her, but she still would have advanced to the next round because again he quit. He hauled out of there. Now, and this is where it kind of, and it's so sad because this is actually my favorite arc. You go into the Sasuke recovery, team, and they're basically this group out looking for Sasuke after he gets abducted, allegedly. I'll get into the details of that either in another video or somebody can go and look that stuff up. So, I love that arc. I think uh, it's got character development for all of the characters involved. I feel it's a really good arc. It's my favorite in the entire series, and it's very early on. It's in the just because part two still all of that takes place after it. My problem with that arc, however, looking back, is that the whole team that goes out to look for Sasuke is male, which it still makes no sense to me because I can think of the abilities of the female characters and how those would have been useful. Only one of them, Sakura, is the only one I could kind of reason with the plot for not bringing along. But everybody else would have made more sense, or would have made just as much sense to bring along as the male characters. Because a lot of times they have the same abilities, but I guess since they have different genitalia, they don't measure up as much. Now, Kishimoto tried to sort of rectify this, in my view, by having one of the female um, ninjas that were villains during that arc, be a woman. But even with that, I've never liked the whole Smurfette rule. I mean, that was one of the main reasons I like X-Men over Avengers, that you have kind of an even number of males and females most of the time. But nonetheless, so that concludes part one of the series. You go into part two where it's pretty much the same thing of just having Naruto, and then someone else. I kind of give part two a little bit more of a break because it has this thing where it'll focus on one person for a little bit, and as they're fighting, going to their past and all of that. Uh, but it continues that Smurfette principle of just having one female to a group. With the Akatsuki, which is basically the whole evil ninja organization, they have one woman, Conan, and she does turn out to be a character that I like and that is I used relatively well. But I don't see why they always have that one female. Now, I'm not going to talk anymore about Naruto just because that's my issue with females in the story, that you don't have characters being used as much as they could, and I feel sometimes that has to do with gender, because a lot of times male characters have abilities that are either the equal or lesser, and they still get included. Um, Kind of going into the other issue I have with the series is that uh, the whole Naruto Sasuke relationship. People make jokes about that being gay and all that, and I always wondered why not just make why didn't Kishimoto, because he said that since the series started serialization, he had always intended for those two to fight. I never understood why he didn't just make either Sasuke a girl or, make, that team. I don't know why they couldn't have had two females, maybe the teacher, and then, I know Kakashi, oh, I wanted to be a male. But I'm just saying, why couldn't that have been the case? Why couldn't we have had an even amount of males and females and have a female for the first two arcs that actually was shown to be strong and powerful and all that. So whatever, that's that. I can't change the past, but that's just me reflecting on it. Um, you go into Dragon Ball, and you start off already in just the original series. Bulma is smart and she can't fight, and Goku has to be the guy to save everybody. And then you have kind of a little bit of a difference with Chi Chi when she comes in, and then she sort of easily gets beaten by Goku, and that's whatever. Because again, I didn't see her as being overtly strong anyway. Uh, just I knew she wouldn't keep up, but still, it's just the whole thing of he beat her so easily. It just felt so amusing to me. I don't know. I didn't know to think they would make it some full-on throwdown brawl, but still. But again, not Naruto. Dragon Ball it is what it is, and I kind of am a little bit less judgmental of the original, Dragon Ball manga, at least its first 16 volumes, the original series, because again, Bulma was featured in a significant capacity for pretty much the entire thing. Now, when you go into Z, that's where the root problem is. Um, for most of the series, the five characters who have major roles. I mean, let's go from the Saiyan saga to the Cell saga, which is three-fourths of the show. You've got Goku, Gohan, his son, Vegeta, Goku's rival, Piccolo, another one of Goku's past rivals turned friends, and Krillin, another one of Goku's past rivals turned friends. And, you know, let's take into account that Krillin and Piccolo were made before Z started. Why couldn't Vegeta or Gohan be female? Again, it's the same thing with Goku and Vegeta, where there's the whole homosexual connotation because of the way dialogue is translated, and oh, I'm the only one that can defeat him, and all just that kind of narrative or rhetoric leads people to make yaoi and all these other little slash pairings. And I always wonder, why not just make the character, one of these rival characters female? Because I've seen rivals that were of opposite sex, and then they get together at the end of the story, and it's so romantic and wonderful. And obviously you couldn't do that with Goku and I guess, female version of Vegeta. But the point, because he was already married, the point I'm making is there is room to include females in both of these series, and for the most part they skip out on it. Or in the case of someone like Android 18, they're introduced as being just as good as the males, and at some point are just completely overlooked. To this day, I will never get over how 18 is completely sidelined. And it's so crazy to me because I have the original manga. And if you go and look at in every manga volume, there's a start section where it goes, at least for Dragon Ball, it goes the main characters. And it has, Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, Vegeta, Goten, Trunks, and 18. So that would imply that, and I think Toriyama had to do with it. I guess he did, but he put that for both the Cell and Boo sagas. And I didn't see her as a main character for either one. I just saw her as kind of a supporting villainous character, kind of like a secondary character almost, because she never had a major. I just never felt like she was in the spotlight, as if anything ever depended on her, apart from getting absorbed in the third arc. But whatever. So both of these series, for the most part, don't have a character who can compete with the males. And I gave you exceptions. You have Tamari and Naruto for the first part of the series. Then you have you even have that female. I forget what her name is. The female villain at the end of Naruto. She comes back. I can't remember who she is, but that's another example of And I'm not trying to say the authors are sexist, because I don't believe they are, but they do a good job of having situations where there's a strong female. And I just mentioned my problem with it is that it's too spaced out. Now, both of them rectify this a little bit with the ending of both series. In Dragon Ball, you have Pan, Goku's granddaughter, who's a major character in GT, and is sort of, I guess, a little secondary character in the current series of Super. Um, but then you have someone, like in Naruto with Sarada or Sarada. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Again, the no English translation, so I don't know. I don't watch the subtitles. I've never really been into that, so I just mostly read. So I guess it's Sarada, um, and she is the daughter of Sasuke and Sakura, and actually got focus in one of the books, and I was really impressed by that. And I said, "Oh, this is great." Um, it's a volume that was released after the original series ended, and it was good. I liked it, and I thought, this is what I wanted in a shonen manga, where you have a female character that is looked at for more than just love, and being all romantically interested in someone. And I really liked that. I really thought it was a good story. I thought Kishimoto did a great job writing it. Just everything about I loved it. I was thrilled by it. Let's put it that way. Um, but again, both series have this problem where now when I read them or watch them in hindsight, I just can't help but think to myself, there aren't going to be any female characters that take on a lead role until the thing is basically over. Because again, if you read the original manga, you're not going to see Pan, be the hero in GT, or well, not the hero, but get some kind of focus in GT and be a little bit in Super. You're going to see her for 2 chapters, and that's it. Naruto, you're going to see Sarada, um, ugh, for let me see how many this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. You're going to see her for 10 chapters. You tell me that is good use of strong females, and those are good characters. I genuinely like both of them. Well, Sarada more than Pan, but still, they're good characters for the most part, and that's why I'm bothered by them not being used. Now, Sarada has a bit of a higher chance of being used in the future when Shippuden finally ends in 2020. That manga's been over for the last 2 years almost, and they still have filler going on. But again, when that finally ends, I think she'll be used more efficiently and effectively. Um, and I really am bothered by the idea that we have to go and through an entire series to get some female characters that matter. But I think it shows that the creators knew we want female characters. We want something different. We want to change this, and that's why they made those two, Pan and Sarada. Now, lastly, I want to get into another thing and how this, true fans of this series don't care. I mean, I mostly don't care because I like most of the characters, but even then, it still bothers me that that's the case. And I had one guy who even told me on one time, "Oh, I don't care about the gender as long as they're good characters." And I just looked at him in disbelief, not because I didn't necessarily agree with him, but because I wanted to ask him, when in any type of fiction, and we can go and leave a comment for by all means, because I have no record of this. Has there ever been a series where you can honestly say all of the good characters were male? That there were no good females, or that you could just take all the females out and just be a great series? Do you think it would be a great series? No, it would be a sausage fest. You need male and female characters, I think, really honestly, in every story. Because there is a core dynamic between a man and a woman. And I think it exists in fiction as well. And that's something that I really believe in, and that, you don't have to necessarily agree with me on, but that's just my view on both series. I think they're both great, but if they had more female characters that were in significant roles, it would just be better. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.